Hey everybody, and welcome back to Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz. Jack's still over in Lake Jackson because social distancing. So again, we're in my little galley kitchen thing in my shitty apartment. Sorry. This has come up. We've done Philly Cheesesteak before, back when we did our ode to sandwiches. So we should have a link down in the doobly-doo if you need that. But I'm trying to do it healthier, man. I'm trying to lose some weight because I'm getting kind of big. Spend my weekends working at the vaccination pods and stuff, directing traffic, trying to be healthy with people there. So gotta be healthy here. So we're gonna do this. It's not healthy, but I'm gonna try to show you how I'm gonna make it healthier, I guess. Hell, I don't know. It's just a sandwich and a reason for a video. Before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, ring the little bell, give us a like. We very much appreciate it. It very much helps us. And check out our link down the doobly-doo for some merch. Shameless plug, that's it, because I'm just going to get into the sandwich. Mostly because I'm hungry, because I have to eat this. I'm just basically filming every time I eat. So let's just get into it. Alright, so first things first, you're going to need to get some meat. Preferably thin as possible. You want to get you some beef. If you don't, you just got to get one of those hammers, beat the shit out of it. You got to get you some provolone, because that's proper. You want to get you some pepper. Bell pepper, I got red because it's pretty. It's onion, one of the world's smallest onions. And the bell pepper, they look good. And because it's Texas, going to add jalapeno because it's Texas. You're going to need some butter, but just a little bit, like a tablespoon or two. So it'll mark it on the side. Some salt and pepper. And then generally, we're going to replace our mayo with our light mayo. That's going to make it a little bit healthier. And then to replace our bread, we're going to get some with a flat out thing or a tortilla or some flatbread or whatever you got. So first things first, watch your veg. Boom, get those nice and washed or skinned like your onion here. And then we're going to cut these up. Now, again, shout out to Andy for the knife. Man, that thing is sharp. Now, don't throw that out. We're going to use that, but you're going to go ahead and cut this down here and then take all these, what they call the veins and the seeds out of the inside of them. It's just, they taste bitter. They don't have a lot of flavor to them. The seeds get in your teeth, and they grow in your stomach, right? That's the wives' tale that I heard growing up. So just cut those out, throw out the seeds and the veins, and then we're going to cut out the rest of it. Now, that top we're talking about, you don't want to leave the stem in it, but you can still get that meat around the outside of it, right? So just pull that stem loose, whoop, right? And then the top, if it's got any little veins or anything left in it, just reach and pull those out. Careful with your fingers. I learned this the hard way. Try to cut those veins out. You can cut your knuckles completely off. So just lay this out, cut it long, skinny strips is usually the best way to do it for these sandwiches and stuff. They fit in better, especially if you're doing the wraps. Again, at top, just go ahead and slice that up. I usually use a couple of little plates here, much to my dishwasher's chagrin. I'm the dishwasher. Now, jalapeno, same thing. Cut off that lid. If it's got meat on it, keep it. If not, trash it. Split it down the middle. Get those veins and those seeds out. Mostly just because they're bitter and they don't have a good flavor. I've had people tell me that's because that's where, you know, it makes it where it's not as hot. The capsaicin is in the skin, so it doesn't matter if you cut the seeds and stuff out. So just get the bitter seeds and veins out of there. Take these, lay them flat, and I'm just going to give these a rough chop. Just cut them down one time because they're going to be still small because it's a smaller pepper than everything else, so I don't want to lose it. Your onion, I'm going to use all of this one just because it's little bitty. So just cut that the root off, cut that nipple off, make sure you get all the onion skin off of it. Cut it once right down the middle, makes it so much easier to handle, right? Now, you can do it from the inside out, up top, or you can flip it face down and just cut it from the outside. Oop, see? Easy enough. That gives you the long, skinny strips that you're looking for. You can break them down and give you some small pieces of onion. So you just pull them apart like, boop, done. So go ahead and get both parts of your onion done like that. Just again, from the outside in. Do it once. You're good. Kind of break them apart with your hand. I end up breaking apart a lot of these on the stove later. Yeah, eat anything that runs away. So now get your meat. Now your meat, if it's just regular steak, you want to cut it as thin as possible. Get your hammer and just beat the living piss out of it. You want to just tenderize it, make it super thin. You don't want giant chunks of this in here. Now you can look, see where the grain is, and you want to cut across that, right? So it'll leave it in long strips so you don't end up with little chunks of meat in this thing. So just take it and cut it as best you can. I just got this back and I got yelled at for Andy for screwing up the blade, so I was kind of worried about it. So if you look, I didn't cut it as thoroughly as possible, so there's still like stringy bits there, so make sure you cut through it and get all the stringy bits out. I did the full thing, set it to the side for movie magic, got me a decent sized skillet, turned it up to medium high. You want it relatively warm. Once you feel it, go ahead and get you a tablespoon of the butter. Now my oven is offset, or my stove, so it slides to one side, so I just go ahead and spin it around a little bit. But while that's warming up, this is just sliding to do that, go ahead and put your onions and peppers in there already. Again, the jalapeno is optional, so don't worry about that being thing. Break up your onions if they haven't broken up. It's easier if you wait for them to start cooking to do that, but I just wanted something to do while I was standing here watching these cook. So just go ahead and pull your onions and stuff apart. Make sure they come apart so you're not just cooking giant chunks of onion. Just kind of mash them with your spatula tongs or pull them apart with your fingers, whatever as it heats up. Get these stirred around, and then you can start, once they start breaking out, you can start feeling it, right? Like, it gets all squishy, like the peppers aren't holding up as stiff as they are. The onions will start going clear. This is where you can add your first doses of salt and pepper. Again, completely optional. Do it to your flavor. Like, there's not a set amount to it. I like cooking with a little bit of it and then adding some later when I put my cheese in it. So there you go. See, now your onions are starting to get see-through and a little wiggly. Your peppers are definitely wiggly. So when it gets to that, after about 2.5, 3 minutes, go ahead and add your beef. Now, I wouldn't have added this much, but I have my giant skillet, so it is going to work out anyway. So pull that apart, especially if you were not cutting it as well as I have, and then put the meat on the metal is what we're talking about. Like, shove it around, push it around, get those vegetables pushed around the edge, and let that meat start to cook. After 3 to 4 minutes, man, you're going to start seeing what's going to turn gray. Add more salt and pepper if you're up to it, just to season the meat while it cooks. Again, optional. But while it's cooking, like I said, I guess 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 minutes, you'll start seeing where the meat is browning on one side, so be sure to keep that stirred. So you don't want it to like thoroughly cook on one side and still be raw on the other. So just keep it turning. Let it sit for a minute or two, turn it again, and put the meat down on the metal, cook it. So this is about 8 to 10 minutes, just giving it a stir every 2 minutes or so to get that meat cooked. Like I said, the temperature is rather high on this one, just because I was in a hurry and I was hungry and I wanted to cook it in there. So once you get it down to that, go ahead and turn it down to your lowest, like your simmer setting, and then take the provolone and just put it right on top of it. And it's going to make like a whole big layer of this cheese. The cheese doesn't need to be cooked, but it's going to melt, which is exactly what you want. You want that melty cheese, you want that beef steak in there, your peppers and onions. Now get your flatbread or whatever you're going to use. If you're going to use any kind of condiments like light mayo, go ahead and just give you a little bit, just give it a little smear. Now, this has been sitting for about 30 seconds, getting nice and melty. So you're just going to grab it and throw it on there, and I'll show you how I tend to fold them. See, there's that melty cheese we're talking about. That's what you're looking for. So get you a little bit on there. You don't want to overstuff them, but who's going to judge, man? Overstuff your fucking pita. It doesn't bother me. So you can just take it and roll it up, or you can take this in, kind of move it in, and you want to diaper it, man. You want to roll that bottom edge up, and then roll it from left to right, or right to left if you're a lefty, man. I don't judge. And then roll that bad boy up, and you're good to go. You got a flavor hole at this end. It's diapered where it won't fall out the other side. And then if you got to set it down, just roll it with that flap underneath it. Done. So there you have it. It doesn't photo very well, but this was right at, I think, $8. I think the meat and the cheese were our biggest buys at like $4 and $5 a piece for the meat, I think. And then the cheese was like $2. So, yeah, that got in there. Vegetables are relatively cheap. This made enough to feed me for at least 3 different meals. Zool even got a little one, man, because she was just staring at me because of it was meat and cheese, and she really wanted that. So I shared that with my dog. So this works out, man. You really need to try this. And there you have it, folks. A slightly healthier Philly cheesesteak. It's just me eating cheesesteak without all the bread. So, I mean, cuts down. You can't just eat the meat and stuff by itself. So that's the thing. If y'all want to do it differently, if you do it differently, you want to let us know, and we'll try it. Put it down in the comments, man. We'll check it out and see if we can circle back to this. I used to work Philly cheesesteak, or some just chili or cheesesteak. This isn't the Philly stuff because it's got Texas cheesesteak. Yeah, that's the thing. Put it down there. You can find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Patreon, Pinterest. You can find us at all those at Living Between Paychecks Kitchen, or you can also find us on Instagram at Living Between. You had a short over there. And I'll see you next time, man. I'm gonna go eat some more of this.